Hey everybody, welcome to the fourth installment of Chris Brown's reading. So right off the bat, I do want to say there is a clearing of energy, and I have noticed this for a while. I mean, last year when I was doing part 3, I had noticed some puppeting energy, and I just never said anything. I actually wanted to do a reading, and when I sat down and recorded it, the entire time my camera was off, even though I pressed start. It never recorded. And so I literally got into like 17 minutes before I realized, sorry for the chicken next door, it never recorded. And so it was just never that time. And I had noticed this around July of last year, this puppeting energy, and this is cleared because I don't feel obsessive energy. I don't feel a lot of energy present. So this is more mellow. So whatever he is doing spiritually, I can see that he has cleared a lot out of his plate spiritually, or his guides have done that, or he's put up blocks. So he is no longer, like I said, there is no puppeting, there is no juggling, there is nothing for Chris to manipulate. In this case, he has let that go. And I really feel like someone has told him this, that there's puppeting energy or he's puppeting, so it needs to stop. So he's heeded that advice and cleared out, the skeletons in his closet too. I really feel like in this card specifically, it's not like up and down. It's like, who can I mess with today? Energetically. So I do want to tell you, some of the women that you'd be like, oh, I think I see him in my dreams. I think I see this, or, it feels like him. This puppeting energy is not him per se. It's not his soul either. It's something that fed on him for a long time, for a few years. And so it became obsessive energy. And with this obsessive energy, it basically latched on and took an identity of its own. So if you've been feeling that energy, like if you think that you're seeing him, it's like chances are that is your desire manifesting into a dream state, trying to work itself out to basically show that whatever is happening is on your doing and it's not actually him. It's just basically all this baited energy and whatever is attached and leached off. So you're dealing with an entity of your creation, or this obsessive energy taking a life on its own, but it wasn't actually him. So yeah, let's get into this reading. What messages are you going to give? What messages are you going to give? So right off the bat, we have him sitting on his throne, and it's very earthy. It's very put together. It's in control. Like, he already knows that he's carved his kingdom. He's carved his seat at the table, and he doesn't give a flying F if people want to sit there. He knows that wherever he goes, he's divinely protected. So with this being said, he's calling the shots. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and I want to tell you, like, I'm hearing there's 3 things, like, specifically that he has in store for this year specifically. And it's not just the album, his collections, none of that, like digital collections. There's something more, because I'm seeing him like this, like stroking his like goatee beard, and he's in a very playful energy, but it's very grounded and very earthy. And I do want to tell you, like, for this, it's like I see no evil. Like, he's not paying attention to it. He's not aware of things because he refuses to acknowledge it. So with that being said, and like this energy, like every time I try to do his reading, I always hear so much noise, even though it's just so much noise. And I'm hearing chatter in the background, and with this chatter, I can barely make it out. But the chatter that I'm feeling, it's like, I'm gonna live my life. and I'm going to do it on my terms. And, you know, whoever gets in my way, shame on you, because you're going to feel the wrath of it, but not from me. Like, you're going to feel it from your own self. Like, he's mirrored, you know, and that's like a huge thing his spirit guides want to tell, is he's mirrored. So some of the energy that they're picking up on, like readers, it's like a mirror of their own. It's like a reflection of their own, unless like his energy actually trusts you, or his guides allow you in to see past the mirror and past the illusions. So that was a huge step for him, to remove that puppeting energy and allow his guides to really allow whatever is coming through to come through. So sometimes people are just blatantly putting their bias in there, and I want to say that. So what's going on in your life? What is going on in your life? All I'm literally hearing is smoke and drink. Like, out of nowhere, that's what I'm hearing, is the song Swimming Pools by Kendrick Lamar. So we have the Fool. So he's off on an adventure. He's finding himself. He's finding what he loves again. And I really feel like this is a long time overdue, because of the fact that it's like coming home after a long period of being away. And it's like with him finding himself again, this adventure of self, there is a lot of demons he's fought and a lot of energy for him to step into this. There's a lot of legal setbacks, because look, there's a lot of anxiety. So I really feel like with this case, like he's been fighting shadow for too long, that he's finally starting to come out and like hone into his abilities and hone into his, I don't want to say newness, his truth. And with this being said and him speaking up, you're seeing a whole side of him that is protected, it's guarded, it's grounded, it's mature. You're seeing these aspects of him that you have not seen. So with this being said, this energy is really him coming home for the first time in a really long time. This is like him being reunited. So there's a lot of more being vocal and basically being honest about the struggles that he's faced. A lot of it was blocked before because he never felt authentic in himself. And when I'm saying that, my voice is like really raspy and it wanted to. So like it was like someone always was like, shut up. You know what I mean? You can't speak like this. Shut up. So it was like someone had like chains around his throat, you know, and you're going to start seeing his abilities kick in rampant now, because he's just saying, look, like I'm not allowing this toxicity, I'm not allowing this energy, I'm not doing the things that I need or I want someone else to do, or someone else wants me to do. That's not what this is saying. This is saying he removed all of this. So I want to tell you, because of this Devil card, I really feel like there's a lot more sexual energy about to ramp up. Like he's using his merged sides. So there is a lot of healing coming out of this, because he's no longer in shackles. He's no longer in chains to the rhythms of other people. He's not playing nice anymore. He's actually coming out, and I mean, we're talking full on, like, I don't want to say demon mode, but this whole energy is him finding himself again after a long time of being absent. And I really say that because it's like someone was in his body, but it wasn't him. You know what I mean? Like his soul has finally come back to its seat of power, its truth, its knowingness. And he's finally reclaimed that and just like, yo, fuck this. I'm done. Like, I'm done playing this way. Like, so he's, look, we have the King of Cups and we have the Strength card in reverse. So the King of, like, the emotions for a really long time, like everything that he is going through right now, like emotion wise, he's letting go. And a lot of times, like emotionally very being immature, like with strong emotions, they run all over the place. Like, you get lashed out. But this is also saying, you know, there wasn't mastery of this. So you're going to see a lot more release and flow. And this is what it's like they were saying, like, he's mastered himself internally. Now it's time to externally master everything. So with this King of Cups, because it's like very earthy, right? It's like the earthy delights, the emotional delights. It's the energies in which we relate to things and we bond, and whether it's good or bad. In this case, a lot of times his emotions have just run all over the place, super hot. And for this, I really feel like for him to take a step back and master his emotions and master all of the things that have set him off or triggered him in any way, they're no longer triggered, because now he's in control, is what I'm hearing with this specifically. So what exactly did you feel like you were never mastered when it came to emotions? Like, what caused that? So there is a lot of stress and a lot of things that have broke down, and it made him feel like he was not good enough. But with the Tower card, I feel like everything that broke down around him, everything that was shot down, or everything that had divine orchestration and disappointments and letdowns, I really feel like at this case, like, it was the heavy that wears the crown, you know, the head that wears the crown. It's just like that responsibility to be this, what the public sees, versus what he wanted to be behind the scenes and how people understand. There were people that were using him for situations to better themselves. And when he caught on to that, he just kept saying, damn, I let this happen. I was blind to see this. And then, you know, at the same time, people who were actually there for him were telling him, like, take the blinders off. Like, you have to see this from our point of perspective. So this breaking down energy is actually made him go forward, because it's like you take 10 steps forward and 20 steps back. You still gain the upper hand, but it's like you're still losing a lot more. You're losing literally double what the ground you've lived on. You know what I mean? That you've taken. So there was a stalemate in this case, that he was waiting for, you know, this to clear, this energy to clear, or these situations to clear. And by using this stagnation period and this breaking down period, which was violent for him, like, I'm saying it was violent. Like, when I say violent, you know the story of Atlantis, when Plato was saying that it literally lasted like, what, 2 nights, 3 days, whatever, or like Atlantis was engulfed in the matter of like hours. You know, however, you know, long it took, fire, water, everything their society had done broke down in a matter of hours, whether it be hours, days, whatever. He was saying that it was like 40 days and 40 nights of just catastrophe after catastrophe, after setback after setback after setback. And with him, it's like, fuck, like, I wasn't prepared for this. So a lot of it, he's had to gain support from the people that was actually in his life that wanted to see him. So now that he's come back stronger and faster and better, this training, it was mental, but it was emotional, and it was physical. Like, he came back, and I mean, he showed the world that he was coming back, and he's not ready to play with this, because now he's setting the precipice, he's setting the tone for which is going to come after. So this is like a comeback. And so he's saying, don't call it a comeback. So sorry. Like, yeah. It's like welcome home. A welcome home. So we have death. So a lot of this is internal, emotionally and mentally. I really feel like with this death card that because of the changes that have taken place within, now he's watching the changes taking outward effect. He's watching the ripples, because I'm seeing like water with a single drop go through. So with this death card, I really feel like he's let go of a lot of things that gave him security and gave him the upper hand, and now he's just releasing and surrendering. And this is the huge thing that Spirit wanted him to do for a really long time, was release and surrender, because it had to replace energy that was in his life that was negative, and it was feeding off of him and every other person that he brought into this life. Like, there were times where he would bring someone in and they couldn't handle it, and it wasn't that they couldn't handle it mentally or physically, it was like they couldn't handle the energy in which that was feeding off of it. So removing that completely, at this entity of obsession, or this entity of this puppeting energy, or this leeching, and like, it's forced him to look at his inner skeletons and his behaviors, his traumas, his mental health, you know, the shadows. He's no longer living in the shadows. And a lot of them are dealing with love and past life issues. Like, a lot of the issues that are coming up is past life and how they relate to entities that are coming now to basically reap what you sow, you know what I mean? And so a lot of it is like piggybacking, and he's realized that, like, a lot of times things don't make sense, and that was because they weren't meant to make sense until, like, they became sensible, you know what I mean? What is sense and sensibility? So a lot of this has to do with his getting in touch with himself and his spirit. And when I tell you, his spirit is very strong. Like, he's a teacher, not just a musical, you know, genius and an artistic genius, creative wise. He is literally a spiritual, like, healer, a teacher, you know, a guide, you know. And with this being said, like, the concept of him basically leaving this life, you know, and being an alien and embracing this alienation of himself to basically reclaim his divinity, even if it's not like, oh, I'm a god, you know what I mean? It's like he's reclaiming being an alien. He's reclaiming being out of this world, because he knows we're not from here as human beings. He's from somewhere else, you know? He's reclaiming that as normal, and he wants other people to reclaim their truth and their spiritual essence, because he knows that he is so much stronger with this creative accountability by endorsing spirit and endorsing his truth. He will find himself catapulted into a whole new level of resonation with a lot more people. People are not going to see him as the same person he was in the past. Now they're going to sit there and they're going to take notice of his energy, and they're going to be like, damn, you know, he switched up, and he literally went 12 different galaxies from where he was and where he started, you know what I mean? And that's a part of him releasing all the shadows that he has to live fully in his light. And with that being said, that's a huge thing to be proud of. So messages that you can give, that you want out, spiritually, you know, what's been going on spiritually for you besides shadow work, the life? What is going on? So spiritually, he's learning lessons and he's conquering them. I really feel like that. There's just times where he finds himself fighting more than he needs to. And he's fighting his demons. He's fighting these battles, these spiritual warfare. And Spirit is saying that he's equipped to it. And Spirit is fighting that battle, that he does not have to fight anymore. And with that being said, this hermit, like, he's being guided through, because I just keep seeing Gandalf from Lord of the Rings in this card. With him, like, I just don't know. Like, we'll just leave it at that. There's no point in prying. So anyways, he's being guided through to the other side. And when I'm saying, it's not just like there's a light at the end of the tunnel, they're saying, no, you're being guided through the other side. Like, you have been given a key to master and to open into the other side. And they're saying the other side. So the veils have lifted for him, and it's up to him to use his crown, his third eye, and his 13th chakra to connect to that. His Christ consciousness with his 22nd, and so on and so forth, to basically reunify and purify that connection to source. So with him being said, like, he's being touched. Like, I'm seeing healing hands. Like, basically, I don't know if this is his person, his mate, his whatever you want to call her. We'll just say that his spiritual person, I guess. I'm seeing that healing hands, like ET, you know, when like they touch, you know, it's like this, but it's all over her hands and she's touching. But a part of it is also guides doing this and healing and basically sending energy and moving it through him. So as for that, because I didn't want to get into her and her spirit, this is more you. What is going on in your life outside of music, family life, spirit? What is something that you can share and be more personable? And as I just said that, I literally just saw a yellow bird. So some of you maybe actually be seeing a lot of yellow like colors. You be connecting to different color spectrums that you never have. Weirdly enough, this just popped up. There is transformation and metamorphosis, so butterflies may be popping up, but I'm also seeing a crow and a raven. So ravens in different things usually are messengers, whatever, that they carry. You know, in Norse mythology, Odin had two, you know, ravens for the past and the future. So, you know, and they would gather information and they would see, they were his eyes basically for everything. So with that being said, there are messengers coming out of this. So whoever is watching this and you see a crow, basically mind your manners and basically tell spirit, thank you for basically allowing me to come across this, you know, not only for entertainment, basically to be leveling up. Because with Chris, his energy is actually trying to work with other people, but it has to be paid homage. So with this being said, his abilities are coming out to heal and to teach. And with this being said, look, because death is coming. So death came out again, but this time there is more. So Chris is saying that with his struggles and everything that he wants to be candid about that. Like, he really does, because the sun does illuminate matters. And there is, you know, life on the other side. And with this being said, he wants to be on the other side. And it's not like he wants to die or anything. He wants to be the other side of this light. He wants to bring joy and harmony after all the suffering and all the BS that has come through. Because he knows that no matter what, you can illuminate anything in the world and people will still not believe you. So he wants to bring and make it more relatable. Like, his pain can be relatable to other people. And that is something that he has strove for, to be authentic, is because he knows that pain is universal. Love is universal. It just takes the right people and the right frequency to be relatable, for everyone to resonate with it. So with this being said, a lot of it is doing such as that. So thank you for that message of transformation. So with you wanting to guide people through their pain and their sorrow, to basically bring them back to life and to love again, and to restore balance, he is saying that in his music this time around, it's more relatable because you're finding yourself more emotional, like invested in it. And with this being said, this frequency, he's tapped into the heart, but he's tapped into a higher frequency where it becomes, people are being triggered to accept, to enjoy it. So some people are going to resonate with this entire album, and it's going to be one of the best albums he's put out, if not the best. And he's not doing it to win awards. He's doing it, and I literally just kept thinking, for whatever reason, I'm seeing 2 Grammys. I don't know if this is the future, but I'm seeing 2 Grammys specifically. No one can deny his accountability. No one can deny his creativity. No one can deny his presence and this divineness. Like, he's writing and sliding so much of the wrongs in the past that he's not even making amends for, because they don't even exist and he has no reason to make amends. So I know a lot of people have asked, is he seeing someone? So let's talk. Are you seeing someone? So now that we have, look, so there is a person in here, but I kind of feel like a lot of it has to do with his healing, and sometimes he feels like he doesn't resonate with the people that are in his life. Now, as for the Page of Swords and the Hermit, I really feel like with him and this Queen of Cups, this feminine side, this emotional side, is kind of like emotions run so hot, but communication is slow. It's like snail slow. So it's sharp tongued, and with him, it's just like he wants to retreat into himself. And with this being said, he wants to heal the relationship with women that he has in his life or will have in his life. And with this being said, a lot of it keeps to himself, because a lot of times he's switching up types. He's switching up presences in his life. So I really feel like he's being more attuned to women they have a very loving personality, or they have a loving presence or aura around them. And yet they mentally stimulate him, but spiritually he's being guided to these beings. So with this being said, and these emotional, his emotions and how he feels upon meeting you or touching you, he's noticing that a lot of times he cannot be around the women he used to be around, because he feels it in his soul how much of a void these women have left, because it's like they wish to take and to break, and they use, and he's not with that anymore. He's not with that energy, because he's not going to allow it back. So with this being said, any information, I know we said we weren't going to get into the whole counterpart situation, or soul companion that you have, like what is going on with that? So they are working on bridging between them. He's willing to work if she's willing to work, and it's slow and steady, and that's how he wants it. But there is victory. There is huge leaps in their relationship. There is something coming there, and it's like they're on the right track. They are. Sometimes he doesn't want to discuss it, because it's not for everyone to discuss, and it's something that he wants to keep private, because he knows that there's a lot of people and beings that would sabotage this because of their mission and what they're supposed to do. And so he wants to keep it mum's the word. He just doesn't want energetic prying. And then we have this. So he knows that he can't keep this in forever, because it's not going to do this, but he wants to scream it to the shout it into the world. And a lot of it is just mental. So sometimes there is a bit of fear, or there's a fear like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I can do to be better. I don't know what I need to do. So with this being said, like, can you physically give us any like tongue-in-cheek clues to who she may be, to go from there, like a location if maybe, something about your spiritual life together. If you see her in dreams, do you feel her presence around you? Like, do you do anything? So with him specifically, this is the funny thing, is if, like, for her to actually see him in a dream or into the like astral realm and stuff, he wants to be more astrally around her and to send more energy and to make her feel her, you know, the love that he has to give her. And with her, I kind of feel like there's a block. And the reason I say that there's a block because look, some of it just isn't right. So there is an emotional state where she's in, and it's just like, instead of being in the emotions and the mental aspects and just torturing herself emotionally, like, why isn't this happening? Why isn't this, that? You know, things take time. But with him specifically, he wants to get her into a more grounded, you know, area, and yet she's fighting. I don't fighting that's what I'm hearing, is fighting. Like, she's not grounded in base reality, where when her emotions are all over the place, he's kind of like, you know, like flatlined. And that's because a part of him can't deal with that, because like, he's fighting this and yet he wants to be over here to help her and hold her. And a part of her is like, am I questioning my reality? Is this real? Is this not? You know, things like that. And so with him and the physical aspect of their relationship, what can you give on her? He's saying, don't throw holes, you know, darts and holes in the dark. Don't throw, you know, don't go poking holes in the dark. We have the Lovers, and we have, it's a teaching moment with him. Like, he loves her to infinite and beyond. And with that being said, it's teaching him, and he's trying to teach her, even astrally, to not fight the connection and just merge with it, because of everything that has to go on with him in his life. He's trying to get her to the point where she is going to be strong enough when she makes her appearance known to him, if she hasn't already, this, you know, in the physical reality, through dream state, astral projection, you know, and whatnot. He wants her to be comfortable enough to know that he's going to approach her with respect, that he's not out here looking sideways, that he's not going to do this. But yet there is a fighting of this connection, and it's a teaching moment, because a lot of things that are going on with them, like karmic cycles and wiping the slate clean, they're to the point where their karmic cycles are almost damn near wiped clean completely. So whatever she is dealing with emotionally that has had that, he wants to be support, and he's like, hey, come home, come to me. Like, if we have to astral travel, come home to me. Like, let's go back to that place that you know where I'm talking about. Like, you remember, your soul remembers, come home to me. You know, let me heal you. Like, let me exchange the healing hands. Like, you need, and he's telling her that, like, open the door to me. Like, don't leave me out in the cold. Like, it's out in the pouring rain and I'm freezing out. Come home to me. Like, you know? So it's like, he's asking her not to fight this connection, because it's a learning connection nonetheless. And he wants her to realize that he's not going to destroy her. He's not going to hurt her. He's not going to lie and deceive her. And he wants her to realize that he's genuine. He's not this little boy he was. This is not the same person or being he was in this lifetime or lifetimes ago. Like, he's not ready to let this go, and he wants her to know that he's trying. And yet I just kind of get like, you know, she's looking otherwise, like she doesn't pay attention. And with that being said, he's like telling her, like, hey, hi, how you doing? Like, I'm over here, like, come home, you know? Like, open the door. Like, I can't do this anymore. So this is a wish fulfillment that he feels like a part of it was just robbed short of. And he's not being deceptive. He's not saying like, hey, like, I don't want this. Like, I don't need this, you know? And with this being said, The reason I'm saying this is a wish fulfillment. He's giving up a lot of things and making room for her, so when she's ready to make her appearance known, you know, he's a prime example of, literally, I'm not even joking, like, there is not going to be conflict because of the fact that he's given up and knows that what he's about to achieve is so much far greater, and it brings him so much peace and happiness. It returns him back to his natural, like, being. And with this, the conflict between is what is heavenly and what is earthly. And being the fact that this feminine and the masculine, right, is like, hey, like, you're heavenly, like, take me back to heaven, like, let me in, like, let me back in, like, let's create again. And there's conflict behind it because he's saying, like, I laid down my defenses, I laid down my armor, and I'm laying down and I'm not fighting, but, like, remember your light, remember the light, remember me, like, with this being said. And I wanted to say that. So with this temperance, you know, and this energy of just conflict, even mental conflict or spiritual conflict between the two of them, even with her, like, he's trying to teach her that it's like, it's okay to go about your normal life, but with him, it's like he knows family comes first. And he wants her to know that that's his family, that is his spirit family, and she will be his family. You know, that's his love, you know, that's his spiritual love, and that's, you know, his sweetheart. And he's getting emotional, like, saying this, because I keep seeing him go like this. It's like, do I need to rip my fucking heart out and feed it to you? Like, would you accept me then? You know? And he's going through it out of spiritual love. Like, his 15th chakra is fucking hot and booming. Like, it is producing watts of energy. And it's like, dude, like, come home. Like, I can't describe how much he wants this woman to come home. He's tired of waiting. He's tired of this. And he knows that he has to wait a little bit longer. And it's going to be worth it. But he's telling her, like, dude, come home to me spiritually, because we have shit to do. And, you know, when he's saying this, you know, a part of him is not looking for love. And yet, on a spiritual level, his soul is like, hey, like, get prepared, because shit is happening within now, you know, sometime at the end of this year, up to 3 years from now. So between this time window, this is a huge growth period for the both of them to merge back into each other. And, you know, to swap energies. They're already swapping energies, because it's funny that, like, for her specifically, like, astral sex, even though they say that's not what it's case, it's the human mind perceiving sex, but because they don't understand the energetic merging, so it basically looks like they're having sex. But, like, I'm telling you, like, with her specifically, she can actually feel him. And the reason I'm saying this is because so vividly, like, the amount of, like, mental sex that they've had is like, she could taste what his skin tastes like. She can feel what he feels like inside. Like, I don't want to go too in depth, but like I said, she knows what he feels like. And it's like they're actually having lucid sexual intercourse with each other. And he knows, like, it's funny because he's saying that he knows her body better, and he's willing to work with her body if she's willing to work with his heart, because he's willing to love her flaws and what makes her beautiful and makes her a god to him. Like, fuck, you know. And it's funny because, like, when the Empress pulled out, I just kept thinking Venus, you know, the Venus of Willemdorf. Anyways, if you know what I'm talking, it's a figure, and she has many, many teats. And it's very old, and yet that came to mind, is this woman whose essence is divine feminine, divine mother, divine love, you know, divine counterpart, you know, type, you know, being. It's literally a physical representation of his soul projected. And with this being said, it's just like he's not chasing this. He's not going after this because he's going to allow her, out of the respect, to be like, I open space, now come to me. Like, I will meet you halfway, but you have to show me the same in return. Are you going to make space for me? Or are you just, you're going to keep running off and being destitute and, you know, keep doing all this shit and blaming me for it? So there's a definite give and take, right? But there's hope, there's faith, and this is a wish fulfillment. And with this star, it's like he's calling in his star family to be like, hey, I need your guys' help. Like, I need you, you know? And so with this being said, this star card is, he's basically sending up signals home to her, like ET phone home, you know, type. Okay. I don't know why that wants to come out. So we have Judgment, the Seven of Cups, we have the Knight of Pentacles, and we have the Hermit. So with this, I really feel like with Judgment, it's rising above and realizing that half of the things that he has, he doesn't want. Or the things that are being presented to him as a challenge, he's taking head on and he's being responsible about it. There's still a lot he has to accomplish, right? And with this, which really got me, is the Serpent, the Castle, and, you know, the Spirit, right? But really got me is the dragon presented himself. So he may be starting to see like her essence and basically her spirit animal, whatever it is, because I'm seeing like a pair of mated swans and doves. So birds specifically could be a sign of her divineness, when as the, you know, divine feminine in this case. And a lot of readers have said that it's Chris who is the divine feminine versus her being the masculine. And it's simply, he's allowing her to be comfortable in whatever energy she needs to be comfortable with. And because he's in a very masculine role, she's in a very accepting feminine role. So he knows that they will be mended together. And with that being said, he's okay with that, because he's endorsing the role that he needs to play in, and she will endorse his, regardless of what other people say. It's not to be confused, is he's both and she is both. And therefore they will mirror each other when they mirror each other. And so with this Hermit, he's really looking to spirit to guide him through the temptations and to rise him above with this spiritual awakening. I mean, it's hit hard and it seems like there's no avail, and there's blocks here and there that he's working through. And it's funny because you don't see it, but there's a face in the clouds and it's like looking, you know. And so I wanted to show you that, but it's all distorted now, so there's no point. So with this Hermit is saying that, you know, the weather on the eye and the horizon is going to be huge for him, like weather patterns, that he's going to be, you know, out and about with beings and people and stuff like that. And he's going to start seeing that where he is in life is where he needs to be, and there's no reason, you know, people will come and go, and he knows that when these people come and go, he will always be solid no matter what on his own, and he knows that. And with that being said, any messages that you can give anyone who's watching this that resonate with this, what messages can you give spiritually to them? So he's saying, like, you know, people are going to be doing janky shit, so stop running from it and start facing your battles, start facing your demons, start being, you know, intellectual. There's a reflection. And you know how I told you, like swans, we have a black swan. So with this being said, with this black swan and this reflection, some of you need to reflect on what is going on in your life and realize some of the shit that's in there is entirely on your making. You cannot be blaming other people for everything. And this is saying, instead of projecting your reflection on others like a mirror, it's simply you are hurt and you need to take accountability for that, is what he is saying. So we have divine feminine. So reflecting on your divine feminine is going to be huge for you, because you're allowing the wounds of the past to to come through. And so you need to take accountability and accepting that with you going through the role and going through shadow work and awakening and going through another round of dark night of the soul for some people, you have to take accountability and you have to show up for yourself. No one can show up for you unless you show up for yourself. And with that being said, we have contemplation. So this divine feminine is contemplating all the things that are going on, right? And I really want to tell you, he's really telling me, like, because of this puppeting is no longer around him in this obsessive energy, like, he wants people to know, for whatever reason, that he is not accepting some of these people and some of these beings that claim to be his counterpart, because he knows better. He can sense the energy of who is and who isn't. So he's saying that literally, if that's what you think you are, he's saying chances are you're not, because thinking is different than actually knowing spiritually and sitting within that power to know, because his person knows, you know. And so if you think you are and you're not sure, chances are you're not. And so be careful about that. Like, he's saying please don't get scammed about people who do that, because he's not puppeting, he doesn't do that. So he's saying honor yourself and realize that when you honor yourself and you hold yourself up in high contempt for yourself and you make shit happen, honor yourself by doing what makes you feel and be great. With this honor yourself card, he's saying praise yourself, love yourself, you know, do things that you would want done to you, and to be open. But I'm also hearing communication needs to clear up. Any messages? So we have divine union. So divine union, he is saying for you specifically, you will find your divine union. You are going to find your divine union. Don't be confused on it, and let you know that when you find your love, you are in union with yourself first and foremost. And that's exactly what divine union is merging the body, the mind, the conscious, the subconscious, and the spiritual higher self in every dimension, space-time continuum. And he is saying, honor yourself and you will find union. And that is it for that deck. Any messages you would like to share? So we have a divine masculine, right? So I really feel like this is Chris's energy, which is on the journey to recovering. And with this childhood and this journey, this is saying allowing the inner child to come out and make this journey, right? Because there is some things that were forced upon him to be a man at a very young age, and seeing some of the things that have come out have caused sheer traumatic journey, and him having children has forced him to take accountability for that, because he does not want that to keep breeding into his line. And with this being said, he's willing to be pured. He's really going through the cycles of purging everything that no longer resonates with him, that is no longer going to affect him, right? Because with this, the cycle and circles and whatnot is showing that the sun does rise, the sun does heal. And with this being said, this enlightenment and these floral aspects in this earth, he's really saying that him going through and soul searching and finding out what is wrong with him, and especially with the divine feminine aspect of him, that he realizes that and guidance, right, that he's healing things that were meant to be healed. And with this being said, he's purged and detoxed. Now a lot of you so with this purging and detox and this guidance from ancestors, he's closing out ancestral gaps, is what I'm hearing, like ancestral gaps. And so he's living that best life and realizing that his ancestors has gotten him this far in his life by giving him and bestowing the gift of life to everyone in this line that has had this, you know, life and death and the struggles and stuff. And he's realizing that him simply living his life and doing what he is called to do and to step into it has healed tremendously. And he wants you to know that you taking and stepping into your power and into your conscious Christ energy, whether divine, feminine, masculine, whatever union, you enhancing you and living your life, you have healed your ancestrals, like, you know, wounds and thoughts and contempts and breaks and you know, gaps. You are healing so much more and breaking these curses that, you know, these karmas and these demons that sometimes plague human beings. And, you know, it's hard, you know, when you fight your own demons and you're fighting another entity's demons too, right? So this is why honoring yourself and honoring that true warrior essence with all that love and bringing that back into you is fucking amazing. And he's like, go you. You're rising from the ashes like a phoenix. Like, smoke and fire don't bother you, right? So you have a new pathway with a new beginning, and you have strong foundations. So when you move into this new foundation and this new beginning, you are guided and ancestrally fucking protected. And this is gonna last, you know, and it's time to reset. It's now, it's like you control it. You are no longer, right? So we have events to come. So like I said, didn't we say Raven at the beginning? So with this, you know, warning to come, this is just saying, hey, like, newness is coming. New beginnings are here, new strong foundations. This is just a warning to be like, you step into this, newness is out there. There's no time to play. Now it's time to reset, because now you've leveled up. Some of the shit doesn't apply now. Now you're on a whole different basis. And it's like, are you going to take that leap of faith? Because if you take that leap of faith on a full love, you know, with an open heart, you will catapult. The moment you start playing some janky shit on the side and you start fucking thinking, oh, I'm gonna do it, and you're not ready for it, you're gonna get fucking like stuck. It's like you're gonna be hit with a brick wall, you know? So it's like you have so much room to grow, and you are going to build something and entirely up to your architectural design and what your soul growth is. Don't be fucking stubborn, man. Like, just because you're stuck in one thing, like, don't let your mental anxiety and your health, like, say, I can't do this, I can't do this, I can't do this, I need someone. You don't. You are completely here by design to be you, to fight your life, and to grow and to build and all this. You are not the victim of your circumstances. You are the engineer of them. So now, be the engineer and do something completely different. Be different. Do different. Try something different. Do whatever you have to do, because angels and devils are the same beings. So how you look at it is completely your judgment, because the saying is, a dandelion is a weed, but to someone else, it's a flower, you know? The only difference is judgment and how you look at it and how it's being perceived. So I want to get a message from the starseed. Excuse me. I don't know why I'm like energetically channeling him, and it's like there's an energy where it's like bubbling, like I'm seeing like a pot or a cauldron bubbling and like releasing, and it's like oozing out the side. And yeah, someone's cooking something up in the kitchen. So you have the love, you've got codependency, Hadrian energy, boundaries. So this is saying, instead of being codependent on something and attached to it, let it just go, and you will find that having firm boundaries, you will realize that you don't need anything. But you got the love, you have this, and yet what are you doing by being attached to it? Why are you being codependent? Why do you feel like you need this? You know, and this is saying, just release that, because what is meant for you will be released. Like, you were protected, you know? So there's no point in you freaking being attached to it and choking it for dear life, because you're keeping, you know, yourself from something greater. Because if you have to be codependent on something, you're not realizing that you're stuck, and it's an addiction. And so with this being said, there's an addiction taking place. Chris, what messages do you want put out? So learning how to be human in a world of it, but not. Like, we're all human beings, but we're all spiritual essences nonetheless. And you have to remind yourself of your divinity. You have to remember yourself of your divine essence and your spirit. And he's saying, remember this shit. Remember. And I'm seeing Mufasa, you know, from The Lion King, to be like, remember who you are, you know? Let the light touch you. Open the curtains and let the light in for the first time. You're not a fucking vampire. Jump in. Look, just say yes to change in all this adventure. Like, and this is gonna heal your inner child and all your wounds. Is just saying yes. Like, you don't even have to. You just say yes and go for it. Just jump in, you know, like cannonball. Take a run and jump and just jump in. You know? You have a light worker starseed serving the world by being you. You have so much light and love and information to give up and to raise a vibration. And this is saying it's your mission to honor yourself and honor that calling. And what you choose to do is entirely up to you and your design, your blueprint. And you better fucking own it. Like, he is so adamant about being like, you better fucking own it. Like, he's literally not playing. Own that shit and own it entirely. So we have cracked open, surrendering, and then we have star family. He's saying that you have such a huge grand design, right, of cracked open and allowing alchemy of life and the star family. For some of you, he is saying your star family who is watching this, you are a part of a cosmic web of entities that all make a family, a cosmic family. And this is not saying that you have to with life, you know, make love to life again, be who you are instead of being separated. Allow yourself to be, you know, cracked open like an egg. So basically all the good gooey stuff that is coming out, you know, the yolk and, you know, the egg for protein. Like, I don't know why he's saying this like an egg, crack open like an egg, like when it's not Humpty Dumpty, but he's like, open it up and allow nutrients and new source to be brought into your body, into your life. And he's saying, like, think of the egg as life. You are the egg. So basically everything that's inside of you, all the goodness that's inside of you needs to come out and expand outwards and to heal and materialize. So we have a star family, right? And with the star family, it's like we all live and coexist in the same place, right? With many different species in the universe and all the universes in between. And so with you, for those who are struggling, this calling in support is saying, if you are struggling, call in support, speak up. And, you know, there's so much more out there. Like, you will find people out on the internet that are more accepting of you than people in your family or in your life. And so it's like, have the courage to speak up. See, have the courage to speak up, because you know what? You're not alone. You're not for everyone, but you are not alone. So speak up, and you will find that your connections are going to come in. And so with this star family look, we have inner earth. You'll survive this, you know, new solutions and new beginnings. And you will realize everything happens for a reason, and everything will happen for a reason. So I actually brought out a love deck, and we are going to get some messages from Chris to his person, his being, his soul mate, soul person, his lover, his divine love. So messages from you to her. Messages from you to her. Messages from you to her, to your divine lover. I love when a reading comes together because look, we have partnership and we have formed a mated pair. I love how I saw that. So you are together with him and you are his mate. You are his mate. There is nothing about twin flame soulmates. You are his mate, his divine spiritual mate. Like he's saying there's too much speculation on what people think, you know, twin flame soulmates and all this other shit is. So he's just gonna say, you are my mate, my lover. So don't get that shit twisted. You are his mate. We have true love at the bottom of the deck, and we have delights and desires. Like, desires you completely. Like, you know how some people want their cake and eat it too? Like, doesn't even want the cake, but he wants the cake. So, just like letting you know, he's in love with your body and he desires you. And we have eject old footage. So basically, eject the notions that you have of these stereotypes or the hurt that you have been dealing with, right? Because he's going to basically put his heart out there. Like he's on the line, you know, and he's telling you like, hey, like my heart is being shot at you. I'm trying to shoot my shot. So you gonna take it? He's enamored though. Like it's like there's something about being swept off your feet. Like it's gonna be intense. Like this whole Cupid thing, it's like, oh my god, you know. And we have casual dating, so he wants to take it slow. So he's saying like even with casual dating and dating around, he doesn't want that. He just wants to go slow and build and like let you grow into it. So just he's asking, please take it slow with me. He's like, I'll take it slow with you if you take it slow with me, you know. So, and this is because of him being guarded and, you know, her being guarded. And he's saying it's safe to trust me. It's safe to be open to me. It's open the door, you know. But he's just saying like, I know you've been hurt in the past. And he goes, I don't want to add to your suffering. I want to make you laugh. I want to dry your tears. I want to heal. And I want to be healed. You know, this is a past love. This is a past life love. And it's a very intense one. And he knows this. He remembers. It's like muscle memory. Like his heart and his soul remembers this love. And, you know, he's just saying like, whatever happened in the past, let's take it slow because it's not worth, you know, losing you over. So please be open to this slow channel. And when I reach out or we meet, you know, this olive branch, let's bring peace back in. Let's bring harmony. Let's bring light back into it. You know, and it's like open that, you know, a white room and add color to it. You know? What do you want to say to her? What do you want to say to your mate? He's saying, I love you. This is real. This is his future, you know. This is the person, his partner. This is real, you know. Don't ever mistake my love for fake and phony because it's not. Like, put a ring on it, marry you, you know, have a family and blend together and, you know, merge. Like this is real. This is me being honest. What do you want to tell her? Or wear his heart on your sleeve. He's telling her, lay your heart, you know, your head on his heart, on his chest, and you'll hear it. He doesn't need to speak words. Listen to his heart. Listen to the vibration of his heart. So it's gonna happen on the horizon. It's happening. He's gonna make shit happen. He needs you to make shit happen. Like I said, swept off the feet. Like this is going to be an intense love. This is going to be a very passionate love, and it's going to be feeling, you know, and it's very sexual actually, right? And in the intention. And he's saying, like, I'm giving you my intention. You're in the spotlight. You're all I see. This is the light. Like, take the stage, you know, do your thing, you know? And he wants to sit back and watch, you know, and amongst other things. So he's saying that there's a lot of sexual, he has a voracious appetite for you. Like, he wants lip service. And this is not saying it just to get a reaction from you. Like, it's going to get hot and heavy. So it's like a part of him wants to do it, but a part of him wants to hang back because he wants you to take the lead. So we have a secret lover, you know, he wants to keep this secret. He wants to keep this private. And, you know, it's like mum's the word, you know, the location, let's go. So that's what he's saying. He's like, can you be my lover in private? I don't want people to fuck this up and tamper. He's like, can you be my lover in the dark? You know? So very soon, this is gonna come out. Like, you're gonna start, right? So you know how we said, like, can you be my lover in the night? This is not temporary, because this is the key to his heart. But, you know, very soon, there's something, like, people are gonna realize her identity because there's something that he's embedded into one of his songs, like on his album. Like, I'm not even joking. There's something that details her specifically, you know? He's gonna share. Any last messages? This is a past love. This is a very intense love. This is a very old love. And he's just saying, like, look, like, don't look to the past anymore, because the past love that we have is there. It's always going to be there, you know, and loyal. He's always going to be loyal. And he wants you to know that he will never purposely break your heart. He will never do the things that you think that he would do, because that's just not him anymore. And he has no time for games. He wants to take things slow and steady, because he knows that to build something, you have to take it at a slow, steady pace, because you just can't break your back right away and not get done, you know? And with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Chris and his guides for coming through. Peace, love, and happiness. Love you guys.